Okay, let's get started. Hi, my name is Kelsey Johnson. I am the product marketing manager at Smith.ai. Today I'm joined by Brian Elrod, who is the CEO and one of the co-founders of TextRequest. And we are going to talk a little bit about responsiveness and text messaging and really just getting in front of those clients and new leads in order to generate more revenue for your business. I'm going to go ahead and let Brian take it away. He's going to talk for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes as well. And then we are going to be able to answer some of your questions at the end. So go ahead and get started, Brian.
Kelsey, thank you very much. Again, my name is Brian, and I'm going to talk texting with you. And really, there's a couple of things that I like to point out is that texting is the preferred way that consumers today like to communicate. So in your business organization, you really need to figure out how you're going to handle that. Whether it's with text request or someone else, it is something that you really need to take a look at. And we all spend a lot of money driving people to our website, spending lots of money in marketing and creating content. And, a lot of times we don't give customers their preferred and the easiest way to connect with you. So we're kind of missing something there. And at TextRequest, we can do some very simple things, such as text enable your business number, the one that you're advertising everywhere, the one that's being called. It can be a landline or a VoIP number. It can be direct dials, whatever you wish, everything but a cell number. And you can say, call or text us at this number now. And you're going to see opportunities because of that. We also offer an SMS chat where you can put it on your website. Someone lands on your website, you give them a way to connect with you. So a lot of different avenues, but let people, text with you. So I've got a presentation. Maybe I'll show you a little bit of the product here. Let me share my screen and get going. So texting is the new normal. What's been very interesting about this year is that businesses were moving in this direction, but because of COVID, they've been forced to move much faster. So it's interesting watching really large and small organizations having to make communication decisions and strategies that take for a very long time, doing it many times overnight. But exactly what we do at TextRequest, in a nutshell, we give you all of the tools and organizational features that you need so that you can text professional as a team. That means everyone can see what's happening with your messages. You're not passing around a phone. You have an online dashboard. We offer a Chrome extension and even a mobile app, so you have it on the go. And you can have as many users in your organization as you need, and it's very flexible in how you set text requests up. So if you would like to use Smith.ai after hours, you can certainly add them as users. You can follow their activity. You can track it the next morning. You can see what was said. So it gives you that tool. And then there's a lot of other tools and features built around this, like out of office, auto replies, templates. You can even create things for your virtual receptionist to say. They can easily pick those templates. So you can do a lot of things to make it very easy. But that's really what TextRequest does. Just kind of moving here. What we're seeing across all industries, we work with about 100 different industries. A lot of SMBs are really our main customers, but essentially they're making decisions very quick. And everyone wants to be digital now. People want to communicate. They're seeing much higher engagement rates when they start offering texting. Some of the things that have happened because of COVID are virtual check-ins, virtual waiting rooms, obviously estimates. We hear this word contactless engagement a lot because you can send your quotes. Obviously send people into an office, tell them that you're ready for them to come in, all this sort of thing. And again, TextRequest will give you an easy way to manage it. What do customers want? They want digital. They want it on the go. They want speed. And that's really what texting is about. And so we've identified a few areas here: speed, attention, engagement, and preference. That's why texting is really something that you need to look at your business. And we're going to show you some examples as well. Uh, so here's one of our customers. The average response rate on a text is about 90 seconds. So think about when you're trying to engage someone and get an answer, you can see that it's going to improve the efficiency of everything that you're doing. I had one time I like to talk and give examples. It was a car dealer in their service department. They've got a car that needs repair. They're trying to get approval, so it's up on a rack, and they're calling customer trying to get approval. They need to move it off or not, because all of that bay is money. They send a text, boom, they get an approval within a few seconds, and they can't reach that person with a call. So you can see here is an insurance company talking about how they get responded to quickly. Attention. Think about this. If you're texting to someone, it's going to get past their lock screen, because most of the time you've got a push notification or a drop down of the text. And you can see that they're inundated with emails and ads and phone calls, but a text gets their attention. It has a 99% read rate. 95% of all messages are read within under 3 minutes. Here's a staffing company talking about how they were filling, every position for a home opener of a soccer event, and they did it through texting. Engagement, we talked about this. Response rates are extremely high. Click through, if you're sending a link, a payment link, that sort of thing. A review link is another thing. We'll talk about that as well. And this is a home improvement company. And it's a preference, and it'll always come back to this, because if texting, 9 out of 10 customers would like to text your business, that's 90%, and a lot of businesses are still not doing that. And you've got to communicate. You need to join the conversation with your customers. This is a school, so now we're into an organization away from a business, but simply how they're servicing their parents by allowing them to text and not having to make that phone call, go through a phone tree, or maybe even to a voicemail. In the sales process, and I'm sure Kelsey would talk about this, the sale normally goes to the first person that responds. And you can be very fast with a text and get their attention. Some of the ways that we're seeing texting used is lead generation. We do offer an SMS chat. You can totally custom design this chat, put it on any web page. You can design the colors, the pop-up, the logo, the form questions that you may like to ask. And the great thing, and it's different in a live chat in the sense when you answer their message, it's going to go to their SMS app on their phone. What I like about it is you have their cell number, and you also have permission to text them. Okay, so because they've texted into you first. I know a lot of times with live chat, sometimes you lose them when they leave the computer screen, or they give you a bad email address. Well, you're going to have their cell phone, so you're going to be able to communicate. So lead generation is a great way. Obviously, promotions have been around for a while, but you can certainly, create promotions, send them to your customers as a blast. They'll go individually to each one, and we provide all the opt-out and compliance features that you may need, but you can certainly do promotions, updates, and announcements. This is coming from a nonprofit here, where a message from the CEO to their volunteers was certainly appreciated. Again, that's using our group messaging feature. Something very popular now is to replace a physical lobby, so folks don't have to stand around into a lobby. That obviously could be in the medical field, that could be in any field that has a waiting room, in automotive as well. They drive in, they text, you tell them when to come in, your entire team is managing the text, everyone can see it, and know that that customer's been serviced. One of my favorite ways, and definitely not was not on our focus list when we were building text requests, but online reviews are so important. You send those out through emails, email open rates less than 20%. They rarely get completed. And online reviews is critical to your SEO strategy, that it's active, that you're getting a lot of reviews per month, that's a growing list. And sending a text link to do a review is a great way to do that. So, here's some examples. With texting, I haven't talked about this, but you can certainly send full MMS. And when you send MMS, I'm referring to pictures, brochures. You can make them very nice. And you'll get to include an SMS where you can put hyperlinks. So essentially also scheduling, that's been around in the medical dental world for a long time, in the home service as well, professional services, where you can set out a calendar link, they click on it, they schedule it, that sort of thing. This is actually a salon talking about their success with texting for setting up appointments. And payment and collections, everyone likes to get paid. You can always send text reminders, payment links. We're getting, in the very near future, we're actually adding text to pay. So you can, a person would be able to reply via text and make a payment. So today we do offer the pay through links, but we will be adding text to pay in the fourth quarter of this year. And one way to grow your subscribers, we do offer keywords, and we're going to offer that, as you can see right here. Text the word normal down in the bottom right hand corner to 423-218-0111, and we'll send these slides to you. But it's also a great way for you to grow your list. And here's an example we're showing you from our actually Chattanooga newspaper, Times Free Press, where subscribers are texting in so that they get and keep updated on things that are happening with COVID in the region. So that's my presentation. Kelsey, you can tell me how I'm doing on time. I've got a few minutes left here before I could quickly show you some of the product here. But essentially,
yeah, why don't you show us a little bit of your product? I mean, what I'm taking away from this really is that, text messaging as a business owner, especially if you're a small or even medium-sized business owner, it seems like something that's really intimidating, right? Like even when my mom texts me on my cell phone, I'm like, all right, well, I'll deal with that later, sort of thing. And the point that I'm taking away from this is really that there's software to help make this easy for you, right? It doesn't have to be this overwhelming thing in order to really offer text messaging to your clients and to your new leads. Yeah, you want to take us around the dashboard a little bit and just show us like from the back end?
Sure. So absolutely. And what you said is right. I mean, what we're doing is giving you organizational and tools to do this in a professional manner as a team. So, and make it easy. I mean, whether you're outsourcing it or you're turning on autoresponders or you're managing it on the go, you'll certainly be able to do that. But I'm going to jump in through the browser. We do offer Chrome extension and mobile app, but essentially what I'm doing here is I'm just logging into the dashboard. And you can see here, these are new messages coming in. And essentially, when one person on the team starts to manage the message by typing, it's going to tell everyone else that's a user on this dashboard. You can set up signatures for individual users. You can send images and you can create templates. So it's very easy for you to manage these. And when I reply to this message, essentially what's going to happen is it's going to gray out. You can actually have quite a few locations. Each dashboard represents a location, and you can move around these different locations like this. So what I need to do is get this message resolved, and I can do it by replying to it, or if it's good, I can click resolve. And again, you can have as many users. There's different permission levels for these users, and they can be anywhere, in the country or world actually. And you can, manage their user levels and what they can see and do inside a text request. It does create a permanent record of all your messages, so you're always able to jump into a message and follow the history of the message. So you can see who answered it, when it was answered, that sort of thing. Every outbound message will go with a confirmation, so you know it was delivered. If it wasn't delivered, it's going to prompt you and tell you. And again, every first message will go with an opt-out message, so that you're staying compliant. If someone replies stop, it'll definitely do that. Group messaging is something we talked about. You can create groups and send out group messages to your opt-in clients. And then when you get into the settings, you can do a lot of things here. You can create tags and templates and keywords and all of that sort of thing. Now, the final thing I would tell you is we do free demos. You can go to our website at textrequest.com. We do these demos every 30 minutes, and you just simply pick a time, and one of our account executives will walk you through the product. They'll listen to your use case, show you how to use text requests, and you can go from there and decide. We're a no contract SaaS, so you don't have to sign a contract or anything like that with us.
Brian, we've got a quick question. Does text request integrate with Clio?
That's a great question, and we are actually working on that right now.
All right, so coming up soon.
Coming up soon. That we have an integrations team. I know that is in their top 3, maybe the top 1. I know they've started the process. They've had the conversations with Clio. In the meantime, we do have something called a Chrome extension, and a Chrome extension is a very neat feature. Basically, regardless of the software you're using, you can slide out and use text request as long as you're using Chrome, and you can use text request and your software at the same time. It'll even put a little text icon by any number on a web page, so you can text right from there. So while it's not a true integration, it really works a lot like an integration. So here, if I wanted to text that number just like that, I just hit the little Q that popped up, and I can, start texting.
All right, well, great. That was really informative. I think, was there anything else that you wanted to mention before I take over for you here, Brian?
No, please. I want to sit back and relax now.
Okay. All right, well, what I'm going to talk about today is sort of the other side of sending these text messages out. Brian was talking a lot about really sending text messages out, asking for reviews, getting things scheduled and responding in-house. And what I'm going to talk a little bit about is just responsiveness and the need for you to be responsive to your leads and clients sort of 24/7. I do have these slides available at bit.ly/texting-with-Smith. I'm Kelsey Johnson. I'm the product marketing manager, but I'm also very, very interested in tech-enabled operations, digital marketing, and communications for small and solo businesses. Very, very interested in, really these technical solutions to things that, we can find really overwhelming as businesses. Smith.ai is a virtual receptionist service. We do virtual receptionists for phone calls, text messages, live website chat, and Facebook. And the point of this presentation is basically that it is important to have immediate responses to your leads and clients for new business growth. The behavior, we're no longer in a time where you get to sort of just put your service out there and expect your clients to come to you. You need to be creating a process, not just in your marketing, but in the way that you respond to your new leads and to your clients that pairs with their behavior, that you're meeting them where they already are in order to respond to them in an effective time. According to a HubSpot consumer research report, 82% of consumers expect an immediate response to sales inquiry. So these are people who wouldn't just think it's nice, but when they inquire with your business, 82% of consumers expect to be responded to immediately, and 90% of consumers expect it on a support request. Plus, 80% of consumers say they've stopped doing business with a company because of a poor experience. So we all know that a new client to bring in is much more expensive than making a current client happy or turning a current client into a repeat client or even somebody that recommends your service. So really that responsiveness is the key to, being able to keep those clients and that revenue coming in on a regular basis. But especially for solo business owners or for small businesses with a very small team where you're offering the service or you're putting together the products or you have a million things going on, it isn't always feasible for you to be responsive, especially 24/7. Nevertheless, your clients and leads are expecting this responsiveness. And so this is really the dilemma that I'm going to address in this presentation, how to maintain that coverage, maintain that responsiveness without going crazy, without trying to answer text messages on your own and answer every phone call on your own and being able to still get that business done. Omnichannel is the new word that everybody's talking about. It's not just, responsiveness is not just picking up the phone every single time. It's not just being where you want to be. Again, back to that consumer behavior, it's a function of being on the channel that your clients and your leads are already on. And because everybody is now, and the younger generations are now on online, they're on social media, they want to be texting, but texting isn't even just something for the younger generations, it's something that older generations are doing. My grandparents are comfortable sending text messages. It's something where your clients are already there, and so being responsive to them immediately is not just about picking up the phone when they call anymore. And so, I'm going to talk a little bit about how virtual receptionists can sort of fill these holes. You might be able to pick up the phone all the time, but you might want to take on a virtual receptionist service to answer your website chat for you, or to answer text messages after hours, or to do a Facebook, respond to all your Facebook leads. Maybe there aren't as many leads who turn into real clients, and so it's not as good of a use of your time to be on Facebook responding to all of these people, but you still need that responsiveness. I know, at least personally, anytime I get on Facebook, that's 15 minutes gone at least, because I've got my notifications and I'm responding to people. So this is really a good solution to offer that 24/7 responsiveness and to plug the holes. So, I'll talk a little bit more about this, but you could have a virtual receptionist service as that first line of defense, taking in everybody who wants to contact you and then qualifying them and serving you the leads who are actually high quality, who are actually more likely to convert into actual clients, using a virtual receptionist service for after hours, weekends, vacation coverage, temp coverage, setting rules for the receptionist where they just take on new leads, but you handle all of your client communications, or even for answering phone calls, a virtual receptionist can definitely take those. You're already on the phone and then it rings to our service instead. This is what I'm talking about a little bit with the first line of defense. You've got this funnel and all of your marketing is bringing in these new leads, but there's a new lead and then there's a quality new lead. And so, even with something like text messaging, you can have a virtual receptionist service as your first line of defense, taking in all of these new leads, qualifying them, and then sending them further down the funnel where your staff is more qualified to handle those high quality leads or the clients themselves. We obviously have, phone calls is our bread and butter here at Smith.ai, so we can provide that responsiveness after hours on the weekends, overflow, first line of defense. We can even do things like outbound calls for you and temp coverage, especially in this new sort of era of working remotely. Having that kind of plug and play temp coverage for your phone calls can be really useful. But in this presentation, I'm talking a little bit more about text messages, right? So As Brian was saying, you know, my source might be slightly different, but 98% of text messages are answered. 98, like all of them, right? So like think about the email marketing that you're doing right now, sending out these emails and only 20% of people are opening them. That could be 98%. If you just, you know, try out this new avenue, and a text message is even less to compose than an email. And if you are doing something just like SMS, you know, just plain text, there's no design efforts in it, you can test it out. And then the conversion rates of text message marketing is 45% versus 6% for email. So this is just something that you need to start thinking about using because it's so useful. You know, it's going to be so much more productive in bringing those new leads to your business. Obviously, a lot of the reasons to use text messaging: increased marketing ROI. You know, you can throw your text message number on a, you know, slideshow like Brian did, you know, text us for this. Or you can put it on something like an offline marketing, like a TV ad or a billboard or a business card, or, you know, any kind of mention, like just shoot us a text, and everybody's got their phones on them all the time. That's something that they can do really simply. One of the greatest things about text messaging that I truly believe is that it improves accessibility for people with visual impairment. So somebody is going to be very comfortable using a text message with their Siri or with their Google Voice, dictating, and you can really open up that level of communication with that client or with that new lead in a way that you know, just can't do on a website chat, or, you know, they might not always want to call in, and it really provides that accessibility to them. I didn't mention it in this presentation, but with a software like Smith.ai, we can also translate back and forth from Spanish and into Spanish and English, so that even if our receptionists are answering your text messages with people who speak Spanish, you know, they are able to translate that in real time and provide that accessibility. And then scheduling is, you know, if you schedule a new lead via text message, they have that text messages on them all the time, right? Nobody ever leaves their phone behind when they go anywhere. So they're much more likely to show up to attend that that meeting that you set up with them, or follow up with you if they have that reminder in their texts already. And then the most important thing, you know, that I can hammer in is that these responses are incredibly important 24/7. So if you do have something like text requests that you're using during the day, during the week, you're doing high-level support, you're handling those leads who are very close to converting to a sale, you're providing that real expertise that only your in-house service can, you can still have a service like Smith.ai cover answering these text messages for you after hours, the new leads and qualifying them, responses to the outbound marketing that you're doing, taking care of initial support requests and passing those along, and then just covering those after hours. Like, imagine somebody sending you a text message, they get a text back, "Hi, we'd love to schedule you an appointment. The availability is starting on Monday at, you know, 9:30 a.m. Central Time." And then that person knows, even though they texted you on Saturday night at 10:30 p.m., that they've got that appointment booked for Monday morning. Or if you do provide 24/7 service, or you know, provide Sunday service, you can still get that response sent. You know, if that's somebody that needs that immediate service, you don't have to answer all those text messages initially, but you can get it sent to you if it's a very high quality lead, and you can take care of it in the moment. There's a couple of next level solutions I'm not going to get too into because they're fairly technical. We do something called an email to SMS gateway, which is basically you're able to set up a system that sends out these text message marketing, and then Smith.ai can respond to those initial requests. And then you can set up, obviously, these integrations with the CRM. We can do scheduling and payments via text message as well. I'll go into the CRM a little bit further, but you're basically, that way you have all of your communications in the platform that you use to manage your new leads as well. I'll also touch a little bit on our live web chat. You know, it's the same receptionists answering all of the same questions, the same queries, but on your website. We can also do this on a 24/7 basis. We can do it with just AI or with our live agents backed by AI, and we can provide after hours coverage as well. So you just, you know, plug in some code into your widget, and all of a sudden, if you're answering during the week, it's answering on the weekends or at night. And we also do some Facebook message answering. Again, the exact same receptionists are answering your leads in the exact same way based on the exact same instructions that you gave us, and then handing you off the high quality leads or handing off support questions to the right team. With Smith.ai's live chat service, you can literally, like, minutes to add these things on. So if you have a website widget and you are only getting a couple of these chats a day because you just started out, or your website volume is kind of low and you just don't have a lot of people engaging, you can set up these extra channels. It's in the exact same platform, same billing, same quota, and really just offer Facebook Messenger responsiveness, SMS messaging responsiveness, in addition to the web widget. And you actually don't even have to do the web chat if you already have a different solution for that. So it really can cater to what you specifically need here. Now, I always like to talk a little bit about process, because bringing on either a new technology like text request or bringing on a new service requires taking a very clear look at the process that you currently have. I say never automate a bad process, never outsource a bad process. We'll obviously work with you on getting a process set up for you, but this is something that you should think about in terms of your own process as well, right? So when you are capturing leads, how are you doing it right now? Is it all phone calls? Are you doing website forms? How are you following up on that? Do you have any leads coming in through Facebook? Have you checked? Do you have you tried website chat? You know, chat on your website to see if you're getting new leads that way. Really figure out where you are able to capture those leads and where you are currently capturing them and where the holes are there. How would you prioritize them? Are there certain people that need to be immediately sent to your line for you to call them back? Or is it something where you can get a text message or Slack message and get back with them when you can? How are you qualifying your new leads? A lot of people, if they are solos and small firms, they're just doing this kind of naturally on their own. But I always urge you to think about the way that you take somebody who is interested in your service and you really understand whether you are the right service for them or the right product for them, and whether they are going to make the sale with you. So location-based, price-based, urgency, whether they need your service, whether you offer what they're looking for, and then what's the process to follow up on the new leads that are coming in. Take a look at your scheduling and payments. Are you scheduling new leads? Do you need to, have you set up the technology to do so? Are you scheduling the new leads that are qualified immediately? You know, are you providing that immediate responsiveness? Same thing with payments. Are you taking payments for consultations? Are you doing it via phone, text message, Facebook message? And are you using technology for that? You know, we've got, if you're a lawyer, something like LawPay or HeadNote, but then just PayPal and Square, you can set up these links that make payments really easy from the beginning. And then what is your process for follow-ups, right? If somebody is a new lead, are they getting sent to a member of your sales team if you have them? Do you want to hear about them? Are you following up on a cadence? What is your process for bringing on these new leads that is really making them feel seen and heard and responded to in a way that's going to help convert them, but also without driving you crazy? And then how often are you checking in with those leads over time? Are you setting reminders for yourself to go out and see if those leads are still still coming in, and or are you nurturing them? Are they not ready for you yet? And then are you fully integrated with your CRM so that you have all of your communications logged without you having to think about it? I did just get a question about the recording. Yes, we are recording this, and we'll have it up on YouTube, and I'll send you all out a reminder. So if you did get distracted and need to run, go ahead and look out for that. I'll send everybody an email after this presentation. All right, so the last thing that I will say is often I will start to talk about all of these processes and all of these, new technologies that you can take on. And, I see especially people who are really professional, but not necessarily incredibly technically inclined. Their eyes get like big and they start to go, oh my gosh, I have 18 million things to do. Like, how do I get started with this? And I've just got a couple of tips. The first is figure out what your clients are doing first. So, take a friend or a nephew or a couple of friends or your spouse or something, and have them pretend to be a client and contact your business without letting you know. How long are they waiting to hear from you? Did somebody pick up the phone when they called? Did they try to reach out to you on Facebook, and did you get back to them? And let that person really like poke holes in the process and see if you're providing that responsiveness to them. Figure out where you might have been missing out on some of these leads. So are you looking on phones? Like, are you able to offer this text message? If you already have a Smith.ai live chat plan, or you want to set up yourself up with a trial, create a number where people can text you and just see if they're going to text you. Are they on social media, and you hop into Facebook and you're like, oh my gosh, 8 people contacted me and I just haven't even been in here. Are people coming into our shop? Is that the main way that they're contacting you, and how are they able to follow up with you in the future? And then, are they coming in on your website? Just log those. Don't even think too much about it. Just log it. See if you can, in just writing down all of the ways that they're connecting with you, find where you might be missing something. And then go through that process. If you can, again, take 15 minutes and just write down what you're doing now. Don't think too much about it. You'll see that you can find these tiny little holes and be able to use technology like text requests and like Smith.ai to fill some of them, right? Maybe you are great at responsiveness, except at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're sleeping. And is that something that you really can use a service or a technology to cover? And start small. Just do one of these to start, and then next month do one other thing. We're all overwhelmed with the opportunity of improvement right now, so just take it easy. Just take a couple of recommendations, and then just really see if you can find this service or this technology to fit in. If you do want to get started with Smith.ai, go to smith.ai/pricing. The texting and chat pricing will be at /pricing/chat, but you'll be able to find it easily. You can start off with a 20 chat/text free trial. You can set that up with Facebook too, and it is no credit card required. If you do decide to sign up for a plan starting at $140 a month, you can use text request as a code for $100 off your first month. And then just sit back and see how you're able to bring in more leads and reduce interruptions. All right, I think that we now have a little bit of time set aside in case anybody else has any questions for us. You're welcome to email me or Brian if you have questions in the future too, but I think we'll sit here for a second and see if anybody has anything that they want to know from us while we're on. Well, I think we'll just sit here for another minute and see if anybody else has any other questions. But I think I've got a question for you, Brian.
Yes, I love questions.
How do you set up the number that somebody is able to use with your platform? Do you port in the number that they have already that they're using for their phone line, or do you provision them a new phone number that they can text you on?
Okay, so we have a couple of options. The first option is we can SMS host their current number or numbers. That involves no porting, thank goodness. So we don't take control at all of their numbers. They don't have to change voice carriers, but all landlines VoIP numbers have SMS rights exactly the same way a cell does. So we're essentially able to put our routing code on what's called like an eSPID, an SMS profile, and the text will come into our platform. Text and voice calls travel differently, so there's no interference at all. If you're getting 100 texts and 100 phone calls, there's no interference at all with the two. So that's option one. Option two is we can provide you a local area code number, provision you a number as well. If you want, we'd call that a text only line, and you can choose to put call forwarding on it or potentially use our voice recording. We offer a couple of options there.
Okay, great. I actually have another question for you. Do you, what sort of automated responses does text request have? Like if somebody, you know, was to text in a certain thing or text to that certain number, like for the slides, do you have automations that you can set up, and how do those sort of work?
Right. So we have kind of what I like to call first level automations that you can turn on or off. It's not really AI where it's, you know, listening to a question or, you know, deciphering and replying to it. But basically our auto replies are, it can just be on all the time. So, you know, a message comes in, it could be, hey, thank you, we've received your message. Someone will text you back in the next whatever. So that, like that scenario would be on all the time. The next scenario is we have the ability to schedule when it's, you know, the auto responders are on. So some people do that after hours, or, you know, maybe they include an emergency number like an HVAC or something in the reply. And then the third way is through keywords, which is how I was sharing my presentation, where someone would text in a certain word and get a certain response based on that word. So those are the three that we currently offer.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like the kind of thing that is already comfortable for people when they're like, I understand the concept of keywords when I text a system. When I say stop, you know, they'll stop texting, or, you know, it'll prompt me with, I can usually say help and it'll let me know what the keywords are. And so,
Well, I've definitely seen people get creative with keywords, you know, where they kind of build their own AI through our system, where maybe they can get to up the knowledge tree a little ways. So the first reply's got, you know, you text in the word, then the next one says, if you're, you know, would like this, text this, or the, you know, maybe it's got three, and then it builds a little bit of a knowledge tree. But
all right, great. Well, thank you for joining us today, Brian, and thank you to everybody who joined us for the presentations. Again, we are recording this and it should be up on YouTube within the next couple of days. I will send out an email with just a reminder of you know, the promo code and how to look at a demo and text request in case you have any other questions. And feel free to email me anytime at Kelsey@Smith.ai if you have any questions. I am very obsessed with the technology and the setup side of a lot of these systems, and so I can answer any questions that you have on that side.
well, thank you for having me, Kelsey.
All right.
Have a
Thanks so
great
much.
day.
Bye.